He's not saying that you have to cut out everything. He also agrees that you want to eat in moderation, but just obviously if your goal is weight loss, you have to be within the parameters of a calorie deficit. And often eating in moderation will potentially lead to a deficit because not everyone wants to track their food, right? So for those who don't want to track, I can't make them track, right? So if you don't want to track, then I find that eating in moderation is probably likely to decrease your portion sizes and potentially lead to a deficit. Tell me if this is too much for leg day. Squat, hack squat, leg press, leg curl, leg extension. So generally 5-ish exercises is okay, but what I would say is the squat and the hack squat, I'd probably pick one of those. And even the leg press is doing a very similar movement to a squat. So I'd probably diversify your movements a little bit because squat, hack squat, leg press, they're all achieving the same thing. So pick one of those, train it really hard, and then do another kind of exercise, like maybe a hinging movement, like maybe an RDL, maybe a hip thrust, maybe some Bulgarian split squats, something like that, something that's a bit more different. And if I was to choose between a squat, a hack squat, or a leg press, I'd definitely pick the hack squat or the leg press. My personal preference is a hack squat, but a leg press can be easier on the knees, so it's up to you. Does it mean when more veins start showing up, that's proof that one is getting leaner? It can, but it can also mean that you've got like a bit of a pump. But yeah, generally when you get leaner, you can get a bit more veiny. Especially, often you'll start seeing veins if you've had quite a bit of salt. Guys, again, with that question, they're not two football teams that are about to play a game. We're not going around asking people which team they're on. Like, I feel like it trivializes it so much. There's way more to it than that. And I obviously have my personal opinions, but I'm not a political page. I'm not going to go around discussing it online. I'll talk about it with my friends and family. I would be spreading awareness if I had every single one of my facts straight, but I don't, because I can acknowledge that I don't know as much as I should. Didn't know that those three are basically the same. Yeah, so it's a really similar movement. It's basically, like, if you think about it, a leg press is an upside down squat. A hack squat and a squat are very similar, but with a hack squat, you're actually going to be able to focus on your quads more because you're supported by the back, if that makes sense. A squat is good if you're like trying to get into powerlifting, but I would generally say a hack squat would be better because it you probably can put less attention into trying to make your form perfect and more attention into like getting the most out of your quads. Surprised about the milk options in Australia, like almond and oat. We only have soy and a little dairy. We have tons of different types of milk, I swear. I think I even saw like hazelnut milk or something recently. I personally just drink milk. I'm trying to do bodybuilding because my legs are really small. Yeah, so bodybuilding will definitely help, but also if you're trying to grow your legs, diet is going to be 90% of it. So there's no use killing yourself at the gym if you're not eating more. So if you're trying to put on weight, you cannot possibly put on weight if you don't eat more. In fact, if you're going to the gym and you're not eating more, you're actually going to be exerting more energy and you're going to get skinnier. So it's a combination of obviously the lifting and the food. So don't neglect that part. I wish I paid more attention to my diet when I was just starting out. I'm having a hard time losing fat. The first question I would ask you is, are you in a calorie deficit? The second question I'd ask you is, how long has it been? Because if it hasn't been long, it's a process. Like, it takes time. You have to be patient. People all the time, like after 3 weeks of a fat loss journey, are like, oh, I'm so frustrated, I'm not getting results. It's because it takes longer. It takes a long time, but that's okay. Have you heard of the EC stack? I haven't, no. My favorite OxyShred flavor is mandarin, followed by the mango, I reckon. My favorite show at the moment, we're watching Outlander, and I know I'm like way late to the party, but it's good. Are there foods that can counteract smoking? A lot of men in China smoke. Honestly, I'm not an expert in this, but I highly doubt that there's any food that can counteract the awful effects of smoking. Instead of trying to counteract the smoking with food, you probably just want to stop smoking. I know that you don't want to hear that, but smoking is awful. And you know what? Vaping is just as bad. People think that vaping is like the less bad alternative to smoking. It's just as bad. In fact, some people actually think it's worse because the stuff in vapes is like unidentifiable. Like, what's even in a vape? It's really bad. I've never smoked, but I want to get a cigar for a boss moment. That's funny. I swear, like, okay, no one really smokes anymore in Australia, but everyone vapes. Alright guys, I've got to go start my day, but I hope you guys have a good day. I am going to go start work. But yeah, I'll see you guys when I see you, which might be on the weekend, might be next week, who knows. But anyway, if you guys have any more questions that I haven't been able to answer, feel free to just shoot me a message on Instagram. My coaching waitlist is in my bio, and my recipe book is also there as well if you guys want to have a little browse in the meantime. Anyway, hope you guys have a good one. Bye.